Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Ride Mechanic channel. How the heck are you doing today? Alright, today's video, we hopped in the car and made a lovely almost 14-hour drive to Indiana. It's like, where's Indiana from Omaha? Well, here's Omaha, and right down here is Indiana where we're going. Where is that in the grand scheme of things of the US? It's right there. That's what 14 hours gets you for those people living outside of the US. Alright, so we're visiting Santa Claus, Indiana. Now, what's in Santa Claus, Indiana, you might ask? Well, Holiday World is in Santa Claus, Indiana, and I'm really excited to go here. I hope this lives up to expectations that have been presented, so let's get right into this.
Now get ready, here we go.
At the front gate, getting ready to go inside. Let's get to it. Okay, here at Holiday World, got everything done early, got here early, so now we're just waiting to get into the park. 45-minute wait, I think. Heading into this park, it was a good sign that all the rides were operating for the day. Walking around the first time, looking around, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this Christmas stuff. It's like, it's pretty amazing to see. I understand the themes of this is all holidays, so you have Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, and I'm probably forgetting one, but it's quite interesting to walk around and see. It's here in the middle of July, and it's like Christmas. That's cool. So we don't waste any time, and we headed right down to the gusto, right to the throat of the beast, and we went out to Voyage. I've heard so much about this ride, and I was so excited to get on it. Now, one of the things standing here, before we even got on it, I was really impressed with the absolute size of this ride. It is an absolute monster standing there. I was like, wow, that is a really big ride. I'm used to looking at big rides. I don't know what it is about this, but I'm just like, holy crap, that thing is big. Like, the scale in the park is quite thrown off because they have a lot of big rides. And the park is really cool, just walking around it, just all the stuff. They do a really, really, really good job at this park. And everything I've done in it, I'm just loving every aspect of it. So we hop in line and we're getting up. We got in the chutes there, getting ready to go. We're riding second from back, but we got the Toboggan Company trains on top of it. Let's head out for a ride on this. This is coming from Front Seat POV. Thanks, guys. The Voyage, my thoughts on this was absolutely an incredible ride. For being a hybrid coaster, yeah, I consider it a hybrid coaster because it's got wood laminate stacks on top of a steel structure. So the structure is taking the bearing on this one, which is really good because the ride was really smooth. And they're able to do some whips around these corners, 90-degree banking and stuff like that. That was super cool to go on. I'm just waiting for the classic wooden coaster like rattle where it's just like it hurts really bad. And I was getting some laterals, some heavy laterals, some G-force on there, and it was all perfectly fine. This part sucked the most, the mid-brake run, the trims. Going down this, I can't imagine what this is like during Hollywood nights with these things just going down these quick little whips right here and then just hauling butt around the rest of it. Now, I was informed about how fast this thing goes because on the way out, you're kind of going uphill. And then once you make the turnaround, the spaghetti bowl back there, this is all downhill from here. So you just keep picking up speed. With something that doesn't seem like you should be picking up speed, you just keep picking up more and more speed. And boy, it delivered. Like, I was yelling and screaming, yelling the entire time. Like, I don't think I've ever made that much noise on a roller coaster before. Got back into the brake run, absolutely exhausted. Not in a bad way. Like, I'm holding my heart. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, wife and son was on the coach behind me, which was pretty cool. So I got to see them when they got off, and let's see what they have to say.
Well, that's pretty good. It was good, right?
That was an absolute epic ride.
Mm-hmm. All right, got some free soda. Awesome. Okay, son, what did you think about it? Sorry.
I absolutely loved it. It's definitely the best wooden coaster I've been on. Not RMC, but wooden. Best wooden coaster.
Anybody?
I liked it.
Yeah, those free sodas are absolutely amazing in the park. So you can get soda, water, anything at these machines. And I love how they're just all over the place. It wasn't just one area, they were everywhere. The theme for today was there was nobody there. Almost every ride we got to was a walk-on ride. It was just a station wait, if that. It was very minor. Went to this cool little, I believe it's a Sally Dark ride about Thanksgiving. That was fun. We took a ride on these guys later on. Unfortunately, the one we got in was actually had a busted wheel, so it wasn't turning. But oh my good gravy, let's get on to this. Like, I've heard so much about this ride, taken some scenic pictures of Voyage going up and over, but it's just one of those things that's like, good gravy has made its own impression amongst the enthusiast community, so I was curious to see how this rides. Holiday World definitely has their theming going for them. Everything in the Good Gravy queue line was just so fun to look at, all the little scenes of different Thanksgiving set up from all over the place, all the little paintings that talk to you and things like that. It was so much fun to walk through there, and they did a nice indoor enclosed air-conditioned queue line. Like, I can't tell you how many times I go to all the amusement parks out there and it's just a single queue line in the middle of nowhere, just baking in the sunlight. And I really appreciate a covered or a indoor queue line, let alone an air-conditioned queue line. So this is a Vekoma family boomerang. I've ridden only one other one, and that was, probably get the name wrong, Rake, over in Phantasialand. So that was really fun. But this is a much shorter version with no return lift. So I was watching the train go by, trying to get some nerd shots here, watching the motors open and close before the train comes around. It is a fun little ride. It's definitely a good family coaster. It's a small coaster, mainly for, little kids, families looking to get into stuff. And it was still enjoyable. I love how the front had gravy coming off the front of it, and the back had the little ladle handle, just like a gravy boat would. Love the theming. Good job, Holiday World, keeping it up. We made our way up the hill to Thunderbird, and Thunderbird is a really nice B&M launched wing coaster. One of the things I loved about this was just all the little things they put into it, the lights flickering in the station when the train launches off. I love the barn theming to it. It's like they did a good job with everything. Wasn't indoors and air conditioned, but it was still nice and covered, very well protected, and there was a lot of track on this. Now, when I was going around just watching, you can't see more than half the track. It's hidden back off behind the tree lines, which again, this park, it's covered in trees, so you can't see a lot of stuff, which I absolutely love with parks. Most parks do not have enough trees and natural shrubbery to cover things up, but this park did, and the track surprise on this one was great for me. Okay, that was my first B&M launch coaster, actually. I'm pretty sure it's my first launch coaster. Does that sound right?
Yeah, because we haven't been on Incredible Hulk. That's the only thing.
We haven't been on anything else like that. So, nice little punch at the start. Loved it. Had a nice ride layout. Lots of twisty track in the back, which I wasn't ready for.
Lots of twisties.
That was great. What about you?
It was really fun. It was way smoother than I thought.
Very smooth. Very nice.
I can definitely, if this launch was that smooth, Raptera's, we all know Raptera's launch.
The spaghetti launch.
It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I felt it a little bit on this, but nowhere near as much as it looks on Raptera. I haven't been on Raptera, though.
I think that's on the wing coasters. I think that's a lot to do with the suspension around the wheel carrier, just oscillating as it works. But it was a great ride. I liked it. Let's get ready to go on to the next one.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And whoever did the barn on the backside where you go through, it looks like the barn broken out and they cut out two pictures of hands up, like two cutouts of hands up. That is freaking hilarious. Good job, whoever did that. That was great. Made our way over to Halloween Town, or Halloween area, I don't know what you call it. I think it's going to be time for the legend. I've heard a lot about this one too, so I was excited. The Headless Horseman may steal your glasses. Yeah. I like the fact that the park was very hey, you can't bring anything on the ride, and at the same time they're like, here's cubbies, just throw your stuff in the cubbies. It works well. I can tell they're very safety orientated. The throughput is great for their rides. They do a good job at kicking them out on time as best they can, especially when you have, guests doing wrong things. But all the little stations around their coasters, they've got those little ready lights on the wall. So when they've checked their particular area of restraints, they just hit it, signaling that that area has been checked and cleared to go, ready to go out. And it was pointed out to me that every time this train dispatches, they ring the church bell on top of there, basically, or the school bell, I should say, signaling that it started. So we're gonna go on Legend here, front seat POV. Let's get it. I was excited for this one too, but this is a full wood structure, wood track, so I wasn't sure about it. And it got pretty rough in some spots. I'm not gonna lie. From starting off on Voyage and getting that nice, really smooth ride, there was, like where we just passed there was a pothole there where the train didn't go through the pothole. It just like appeared on another side. It was crazy. It shifted over like a foot. It hurt. Yeah, it hurt a lot. Yeah. There was a lot of times on the Legend, especially, where I was just like, the side was hurting, my leg was hurting from getting shoved into the restraints. It has a lot of cool tunnels through it. That's awesome. I love it. The theme is that you're being chased by a headless horseman through this thing. And then right through this guy, this is, I believe, the two helixes back to back where they just don't believe in banking. And it's just so much lateral force around there. If you're on that left side seat, yeah, that sucks. On the right side, I was hanging on. And then once you pass the covered bridge, it's supposed to smooth out and be just nice and a tame ride after that, which is, only up to the brake run. After that, we moved over to Raven, which is pretty much right next door. And I was excited to ride this one too. It's like, okay, let's see. This was their oldest wooden roller coaster. Also a CCI. Legend was also a CCI, if I have that correct. So both the Woodies are CCIs and the hybrid is a GCI, which I'm probably going to get flack off the hybrid comment, but steel structure, wood track, I still consider it a hybrid. It's not a full wooden roller coaster, but I'm completely okay with that. I hold it in a high standard. Watching Raven get out there is like very curious to see what this was like. Being their first roller coaster that was, first big wooden roller coaster that was at the park, I should say. So I'm like, let's watch this now. Let's see what's this all about. Again, front seat POV. Thank you very much. Now this one had a nice little smooth drop at the start. Came up that first hill. I'm like, okay, all right, this isn't going to be that bad. And then I just started getting jackhammered like a California wood coaster. This had a very California feel to it because like most of the Woodies out on the West Coast are pretty dried up and they just hammer you repeatedly throughout the entire track. This one was that way as well. It just hurt to ride all over. I'm not a person to say it's horrible. In fact, I don't think I've ever ridden a horrible coaster except for the original Intamin Zack Spin. But that was one we did not repeat at all. So we only rode Raven one time. Walking around the park here, their new construction area for Cannonball. I was trying to see if I could see anything. They do a really good job at this park of hiding stuff the best they can. They put up these really big, like 10-foot walls all the way around and pretty much blocked it off with white paper behind it. This little area was the only way I could poke behind and see some of the construction for Cannonball coming in, which is going to be exciting when that ride opens because that's going to be a nice little water ride for them. It's going to be amazing. Some more footage of Voyage coming ripping by. And then that thing's getting faster. We're getting later on in the day. I'm not taking a lot of footage at this park because we are just going from ride to ride. There is no lines. We are moving so fast throughout the park that by midday we have pretty much repeated 2-3 times almost every ride in the park a couple of times just by midday, a couple of hours after opening. There was nobody there. The weather for the weekend said it was supposed to rain all day, and I think that pretty much scared everybody away. So I got another ride in on the Voyage, much faster, still awesome. Had to catch my breath afterwards, completely out of air. Like trying to catch my breath, breathing afterwards. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was such an awesome ride. I can't say enough about the Voyage. That was great. We went over here to the Mayflower, swinging pirate ship. I mean, there's nothing too much about these things. I enjoy taking some of the nerd shots. I plan on doing a video soon about the swinging pirate ships or swinging ships in general, because I don't like to get too nitty gritty on these things. I feel like if I limit myself with just one very specific model, like most of that stuff applies to the majority of them. But when I do stay with specific models, I typically know the most about that particular model. But this was a nice little ride. It got some good up and down, back and forth. And one thing I found out, I mean, it's kind of just reiterated itself, was that I wasn't really, like, the older I get, the more I'm not used to the swinging motion back and forth. Like, I was almost on this one starting to get a little sick on it. Got 4 drive tires down there, 4 AC drive motors underneath the station. That was interesting. Now I've heard, I've always been told that it's the inner ear fluid solidifying as you get older, and that's the reason why you get a mismatch between what your vision sees and what your brain feels, because that inner ear fluid is like not quite liquid anymore. It's a little more viscous. But I was recently listening to a doctor talking about this exact problem, and they were attributing it to your body is just not conditioned. The older you get, the younger you are, you're more resilient. You can ride roller coasters and stuff, and your body's just used to it. But the older you get, you have to condition your body for it. So you have to condition it to run on roller coasters. You have to condition it to swing. You have to condition it to spin. And some people can't handle it. There you go. There's the output of that if you can't handle it. So I thought that was interesting. It's like, so it seems to be from that doctor's point of view, if you can't handle the swinging or the spinning, the answer is not to stop going on the ride. The answer is to go on it more, to condition your body. Now, if you can only get on that ride once a year, you're not going to be able to do much. But if it's a local park and you're there and it's like, I can't stand that swinging, but it's a fun ride, the answer apparently is just to go on it more, which I could stand behind that. It's like, okay, we condition our bodies to do all sorts of stuff. So I could see the sensory input simply just being a condition. Thought that was interesting. Love this park though, walking around. We went back to Good Gravy again afterwards. Walking up, I was like, I need to get a little bit of queue line footage because this queue line is just something else. I love it. Nice and air conditioned again. It was walk on. There was none of these queue lines were full. So I didn't really have time to stop and take a lot of pictures because we were just moving from one place to the other. As soon as we got off Good Gravy, went right back to Thunderbird. Got on Thunderbird. It's like, yeah, let's go. Ride this thing again. I was asked about the clicking in and out of the station, the rhythmic thumping when those things leave. And that's the pickup bars in the middle of the station that the restraints unlock of. B&M's one of the few companies that don't choose to retract those pickup bars. They just let all the little pickups underneath the train hit them every single cycle going in and out. Which they probably have a good reason for it, but I don't know what that is. Because in my mind, that seems like it just causes more wear and tear on the components. But yeah, these wing coasters, when you listen to that rhythm click as it goes in and out of the station, that click, 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 that thunk as it goes through, it's like a thunk, thunk, thunk. That's the pickup. There's some more of that track footage in the back. It's like, I didn't know that was really back there because we didn't really spend too much time looking around because of how fast we were going from place to place. But I was able, like every time I went by the Voyage, I'm like, wait, I want to stop and take a picture of that going by. What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad Santa. We did decide to go on the Halloween swings, Hallow swings. I told Son, I'm like, do not get us kicked out of the park, because I gave him a bad thing, and I showed him how to turn a swing around with just a couple kicks of the feet and ride backwards. I don't advise doing that because you'll get kicked out. So I told him, and he's good at it. I'm like, do not get us kicked out of the park. back to the Legend. This is time number 2 on Legend. This was our last time because honestly, could only stomach one more ride on this with as rough as it was. Now I understand it might not always be that way, but it just was at this particular time. You know, it's wooden roller coasters are that way. Some weeks they're great, some weeks they're bad. Just depends. All right, Legend, time number 2. That one hurt way more than time number 1. That was bad. I don't know if I'm constipated or if that's my spine and my ass now. It was so rough. My shoes don't fit right now. I don't know how that works. And that's not joking around. Literally, the insole of my shoes shifted around after that ride. Like I had to take them off and fix them. That was weird. So we decided to go on this little log ride over here, wondering if this will be taken out once Cannonball opens up. But very interesting start to this ride. Pitch black tunnel through a very claustrophobic area. It's the only ride I've ever been on where my claustrophobia actually set in, other than a water slide. That was weird. That was definitely weird. The wife taking some pictures outside of the park. She went to go get, she took a break. Back with some more free soda / water. Oh, I can't tell you how amazing it is that they offer this there. It's such a basic function for everybody. Hey, get water or in soda or some like Gatorade or something. We actually stopped. We had plenty of time. We had been through the park a bunch. We actually stopped to watch a magic show, which was really cool. So we stopped and watched a magic show. We did that. That was great. It was like a little 10-15 minute show. It's cool. Normally don't have the time, and a lot of parks have gotten rid of that stuff completely. So we headed over and now we're getting on the Firecracker. This is I can't remember what it is. It's like a Roblos something, Calypso, I think it is. It's a fun little ride. I enjoy little spinny rides like this from time to time, as long as parks don't do the thing. Like I can't remember where I was, but they were running the cycle at like 2.5 or 3 minutes of spinning. It's like, all right, I appreciate it, but it's too much spinning. Like, knock off the spinning. I'm okay with like a minute and a half cycle. It's great. Get you up to speed for a while, fling you around. All right, we went over to Liberty Launch and we got on there, and really cool. The operator running the ride recognized me. So as I was going up, they're like, "Hi, Ryan," and I was like, "Was that for me?" And oh yeah, it was. The operator's waving. I'm like, "Oh hey," and even though the ride didn't have it afterwards, the operator, when we were done with the ride, the operator said, after his spiel, said, "Stay off the air gates." And I was like, that is awesome. I don't think I've ever had an operator say, "Stay off the air gates" before. Not at least for a ride that had air gates, but this one didn't have air gates. So that was really cool to hear that. I can't do an update. The wall's too high. Can't really see around it. Yep, so we're on our way back for another ride on Voyage. I believe this was the 3rd ride of the day, and back over there. And then we pretty much did that ride, and now we're heading out of the park. We got done with everything so early. We repeated so much, we're out of here. Evening drive out to pick up my daughter. Had to stop and get some gas along the way. Loved those gas prices. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. And stopped for some dinner later on. White Castle. I've never been to a White Castle before. Now, next morning, went to Cracker Barrel. We hadn't been to Cracker Barrel for years, so it's like we wanted to try Cracker Barrel. And he solved it on his first time playing. Couldn't believe that. Also, they've got all their pretty much Halloween stuff out already. Later on in the day, we visited BJ's, because what's a road trip without going to a BJ's restaurant? We got that ultimate pepperoni. Oh man, that was so good. And we went around, did some souvenir looking around. Ghirardelli's, of course. Vanilla milkshake. Gotta stop for a Ghirardelli's milkshake. Son got a chocolate bar of all things. We headed out to the Louisville Slugger Museum factory, basically, and we took some pictures next to the giant 120-foot bat outside. It was crazy. Hard to get the scale of that thing in the picture. But yeah, it's pretty big. No, it's steel. It's made by a tank manufacturer. But we went inside. We had a lot of fun on this tour. It was very interesting to see. In fact, I got a little souvenir bat afterwards. A micro Louisville Slugger bat. That is pretty cool. Interesting to see that they make all the bats custom for all the teams depending on each one of the individual players' designs. We couldn't record during the tour. We could take still pictures, but we couldn't record. But here's someone actually hand turning a bat outside. And with so much wood around, I can't help but find the sign. It's all about the wood. There you go. Next, we stopped at the Kentucky Derby. We've never been there before. Kind of strange. It's in the middle of just like a residential area, and here's the Kentucky Derby area. So it's like, that was interesting. We took a tour, went out there, got to see the track. Pretty hot that day, but it was still interesting to go see. One of the most world famous horse racing places out there. And a wall of bourbon on the inside. Then we started the 14-hour drive home, made it back to Omaha, Nebraska at about 2 a.m. Whew, that was long. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. Like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff downstairs. It does help me out. I do appreciate it. And basically, the summary for this trip was Holiday World was an amazing park. I'm super excited and I'm super glad I got the chance to go there. The free parking mixed with free soda/water mixed with free sunscreen. It makes the park extremely visitable. You know, you can go there and you could just walk in and spend time there. It doesn't really, like, the admission price wasn't bad. We got tickets. I can't remember what we paid for them. $40, $50 or something like that, which wasn't too bad. But I mean, just the basic necessities that everyone has to meet of just getting water, sunscreen, that sort of stuff, it was free. It was already done. Like, that's something that other parks should take away from this. It's like, it's not just the fact that it was free, it's that it was easy to get a hold of. Those soda stations, there were so many of them throughout the park. I thought when I heard free soda and stuff, it was like, it's going to be probably one machine, someone's going to be standing there handing out cups, and the line's going to be 10 miles long. It's going to be one spot at the front gate, which, no, that was not the case, in fact. They were all over the place. There were tons of machines all over the place, very easily accessible. Now, I could see on really hot, busy days, there might be a little bit of wait for those machines, sure. One of the things that still interested me is that they still sold souvenir cups. Even though the cups are free, they still sold souvenir cups where you could get more soda or more water in them, which I thought that was a really interesting dynamic, but it must be working out. I mean, it's being covered in their per cap. It definitely made me much more pliable to spend more money in the park, knowing that that stuff was already being taken care of. So that was something. All right, great park. Definitely go visit if you have a chance. Get on the Voyage, Brave Legend, and if you're really into pain, get on Raven. All right, that's it. Stay off the air gates. Bye.